So let's say Congress puts together a new law and they get it passed in the Senate, get it passed with the House of Representatives. It goes to the president's desk. Do the president have to sign that into law, or they can bypass it?
If the president don't like it, he can veto it.
Absolutely. So if Congress agree on a law, the House of Representatives agree on a law, and even though they agree on this collectively, the president can turn it down.
Yes, he can turn it down. And another thing too, he can be, if you have the Congress and the Senate agree, they can impeach the president. But both Congress and the Senate have to agree on and vote for impeachment.
Yeah, absolutely. And so the executive branch, they enforce the laws. That's the president, the vice president. So let's say we have a law and the executive branch enforces the law. So what happens if there is some confusion in the law, the interpretation of the law? How do we fix that?
Well, if the law is racist, then we have to go to court about that law, because you have a law of gerrymandering and all that stuff. If it's a racist law and it's not the law of the land, we need to go to court, because a lot of laws that legislated is racist laws, and they've been racist laws for forever.
Absolutely. And if you can explain the judicial branch for us.
Well, the judicial branch is the one who should have ethics, but they don't. The judicial branch is a kangaroo court if you're going to give a president immunity. When you have economic and political power, you create an alleged criminal enterprise, because the people, it's like Putin. He controls everything in Russia, and this is what our current president is trying to do.
So why did our forefathers create 3 branches of government? Why didn't they put all this into one, like a dictator or a king, I should say? Why did our founding fathers create 3 branches of government?
Because they didn't want to have a king or dictators running the government. So he can bypass the legislative, bypass the court, bypass the executive branch, the legislative, and when you don't have a balanced system, you create a dictatorship, king.
Yes. And so, and this is all for the viewers. First, how do a Supreme Court justice get on the Supreme Court?
They have to be voted in by the Senate. And one of the things that's wrong is that why is it everybody in the lower courts have ethics but the Supreme Court? They're not supposed to have gifts. You can't even a congressman, you can't even take them a lunch if it's over $25. That's violating the civil rights in America, and they're getting away with that. I suggest 20 years for Supreme Court, not life, because when you have life, you can't control them.
That's it. So yes, definitely term limits. So there's no term limits in the Congress. There's no term limits in the Senate. There's no term limits on the Supreme Court. So you said for the Supreme Court, you think it should be a 20-year term limit?
I think so.
And for Congress, how many years do you think should be the max in Congress?
I think for about 12.
Okay,
Four by four terms.
Okay, 16 years.
Yeah.
Okay, absolutely. Because we're definitely for term limits, and if the President of the United States have term limits, I believe every elected position should have a term limit, even city council, school boards, commissioners, every elected official should have term limits, in my opinion.
Yeah, because you need fresh ideas. You need fresh ideas. It's like the young man that's running for mayor in New York. He is showing the Democrats what it's all about. And he's bringing new ideas to New York.
Yeah, absolutely. I've seen some stuff about that kid. I have not followed him. I'm not the biggest on New York politics. But I heard some stuff about him. A couple things seem a little bit extreme, but I have not followed him too much, and I will be looking into him. And so, we got our 3 branches of government. What advice would you give to the younger generation when it comes to being in tune with the government? Just knowing what's going on. What advice would you give to those people?
I feel that the young people should have a government class so they know their constitution, violate their constitution. I had a young man come to my office one day, and he said, "Why does the police keep stopping me?" I said, "Do you have tinted windows?" He said, "Yes." I said, "There's a law in California saying it's illegal to have tinted windows because the police cannot see if you have a gun or not in your car."
Absolutely. And so we know you've been teaching and educating for many years. We know that we have a big banquet coming up, the NAEJA banquet in October of 2025. And did you want to talk about the banquet a little bit and what you will be discussing at the banquet and why it's important for everyone to attend the banquet or tune in and watch the banquet?
We'd like for you to tune in, and we're going to live stream the banquet, and it's the 22nd Annual Awards Banquet. Theme is What's Next in America, Justice or Injustice, October 25th, 2025. Keynote speakers Royce Esters, CEO, President of NAEJA. Music by Wanda Ray Willis and the Essential Elements Band. Special guest singer Malik Smith, sounds like Frank Sinatra. The special guest comedian Jammin J. Lamont. The Crowd Bird, Tuskegee Room, 111022 at Aviation Boulevard, Los Angeles, California, 945. Social hours from 6 to 7 p.m., dinner 7 p.m. until reserved tickets $80, reserved table $640. Join us for a gala celebration. We are an independent national civil rights. We don't want any money from the city, county, state government to control us. We are fighting every day. In fact, I got to go to 11th with Orange County to a wrongful conviction and wrongful incarceration in the Orange County jail. He's been there for 6.5 years, and they violating cruel and unusual punishment. In fact, we created a wrongful conviction unit in the district attorney's office in Los Angeles. So we're on our job.
Absolutely, and we thank you for all that you do. And just so people know, why is it important to you that you don't accept federal, state, or county funds?
Because we don't want to be controlled.
Exactly. Can you explain that to the people of how those funds try to control the organization?
Well, what happened is that if they're going to give you $50,000, you're going to have to pick who you fight for. If they don't like what you're doing, they cut your budget, and you're out of business.
Absolutely. So you're saying that many governments, federal, state, or city, they're very different levels, but similar. They may donate and do different things for different organizations, but they don't want you to talk about certain things or do certain things.
Well, let me give you a good example. Congress came to me one day and said that a certain civil rights group and that wanted to have the government support drugs. NAEJA said we don't want to support anybody. Drugs, I don't care if it's city, county, state, and federal, we do not want to support people who's selling drugs, including the government, supporting it, because the fact that that when you have those type of things, you kill a lot of young people, and those drugs will definitely hurt you in the long run.
Absolutely, absolutely. And we just want to get some of your opinions. So the current administration, Donald Trump, what do you think he's doing to this country currently, and where do you see our country? I mean, it's so much going on just in the first 6 months of this year. Where do you see our country 12 months from now, in summer 2026?
Well, if we don't do something about this, we're gonna have a king. And it looks like that's happening. Under the 14th Amendment, under Section 3, if you are not qualified to be a president, the states can get together and put you out of business because you feel like you're not qualified under the 14th Amendment under Section 3. You should be qualified. You should be, you can't operate like a king and violate your civil rights. So under Section 3, they could get rid of someone like that, but they're not doing it.
Absolutely. And with so much going on in just the globe, I don't want to say war, but you got the Hamas and the Israel. We just had Iran and Israel. We got Ukraine and Russia. Trump just said he's going to send some more weapons to Ukraine. Do you see this Russia and Ukraine conflict ending anytime soon, or do you see it expanding?
Well, let's put it like this. During Hitler regime, when Hitler was taking city, state, city by city, if you don't stop him at Ukraine, he could end up taking the whole Europe continent over there. And that's what he did when Hitler was in that. You got to stop Ukraine so he won't spread the war. And we got to get with our allies. For some reason, this administration is more against the allies than they are the people that's the enemy of the United States of America.
Absolutely, absolutely. So yeah, definitely being vigilant what's going on. I've always said I don't like wars. We don't want no wars, and prayer go out that we can find some solution to put down these missiles, because all it takes is one of these rockets to just not hit its target, and it can go into a city and just wipe out thousands of people just like this. So we gotta stop these missiles. Absolutely. And would you like any comments before we close up, or anything you'd like to say?
Yes, I would like to say this. Trump is trying to say that you don't have to pay tax on your Social Security. That is terrible. You're making a payment. You're not paying taxes on it. If you don't, I say that even sole proprietorships and general partnerships pay that self-employment tax, because it helps you and it also helps the Social Security Department, and you won't have to be putting hospitals out of business. It's a payment, not a tax. It's a payment. Don't get caught up that you don't want tax on Social Security. You want to be taxed on your Social Security so you can expand your Medicare. Anyway, if you're single, if you don't exceed 25,000, there's no tax anyway. If you're married, if you exceed 32,000, it's tax. But if you go up to 32,000, you have to pay tax anyway. So what I'm saying is that don't get caught up in that deal where he's saying, well, I want to tax Social Security. If you look at it as a payment, he's trying to get rid of Social Security and Medicare. That's what he's trying to do. So what he's saying is that when you make it $90,000, $100,000, a certain portion of your tax is taxed.